Hi, welcome to Startup Out of the Box, a regular podcast with Marco Silva and Vitor Domingos.
On this episode, we're going to talk about how to sell unpopular decisions. We're going to talk also about strategies that drive innovation, especially from a startup to the enterprise kind of mode. And finally, some customer service tips for startups. That's right. And
you need another coffee?
No, I'm probably going to need another coffee, but that's okay for now. So, first topic, how to sell unpopular decisions. This is something that I saw over on LinkedIn. Someone putting up some
articles,
some topics, some tips on how to sell this kind of popular decisions, unpopular decisions. That's the way.
Yep.
And one of the tips that this article has, it's I will start with the middle one, which is instead of saying sorry, start saying more thank you. And when you need to sell something to someone, especially on a startup, don't tell, well, I'm sorry for asking this, but actually appreciate that at the end. Right?
I appreciate that you taking the time to listen to me. Thank you for your thoughts. Thank you for reading my opinion. Give some bit more credit to the other person, and you don't start already apologizing in beforehand. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm gonna take your time, or I'm sorry to disturb you. It already puts you in a lower position in a conversation.
Exactly. One of the tips is also about when it comes to decision making, the how is important as the why. So every time we take a decision, everyone asks, why are we doing this? But also we need to ask about how we're going to do this, right?
And also how do you explain that decision?
Exactly. Both. Both why and both how to everyone in the company.
Yeah, it's not just telling everyone in the company we're going to do this because I say so. It's more of this is what's going to happen. I know that most of you don't agree with this decision, but the reasons that we're going to do this because of A, B, and C. Be transparent, explain your thought process, because even if the other people don't agree with that decision yet, they will understand why that decision was taken. For example, you have a good example of that on the last memo that Jeff Bezos released for Amazon, where they explained the meetings happen in Amazon. So people explained what's going to happen or why they think this is the right way to do it. But even Jeff Bezos, he says, even if I don't agree with his decision, I understand why people took it, and I support that decision because he understands why that decision was taken. So it's important to explain and be transparent on why the decisions take place.
So take notice that not all decisions are going to be well received or popular.
Oh no, so a lot of them won't be popular. No.
Exactly, and as you said, we need to be transparent and explain both how and why to everyone in the company, along with instead of saying sorry, saying more thank you. And there's a couple more tips about this kind of unpopular decisions. The first one, one of them is about getting to communicate that decision in a more passionate way, rather than just kind of more robotic or something like that. Just find that kind
traditional of corporate PR.
Exactly. Explain as we've been talking about. Explain the how and why in a more passionate way to everyone in the company. And the last one is take notice that most of the teams they're not the same, so they are diverse, and we need to explain probably the same things over and over again in a different way, so that people can understand that. And if you work in a kind of international startup, the way that the message is received by different kind of cultures and languages and stuff like that, it's going to be different. So you need to take notice of that. I remember the last startup that we worked for, we were a lot of different nationalities there, and one decision could be received differently from each kind of group right inside. That was really fun to do. And that's it. So how to sell this kind of unpopular decisions within a startup. The third topic, it's about strategies that drive innovation. So from a startup world to a corporate world. So this is a huge
it's more
list.
It's kind of a bit of a parody list also.
It is.
It's a bit of a critique to corporate that pretend to be innovative and a bit startup
and disruptive. How can we learn from startups, right?
So they try to it looks like they are being innovative, but in reality, not so much. But you can understand from this list.
You can find some similarities here, right?
Yeah,
so you look up
and understand.
I already
Okay,
did this.
yeah, we already did this, or okay, this is more to show, like, but you can take the point of, like, what do I really need to do out of this list? It's most of don't do the same kind of.
Yeah, let's. I don't know. It's not kind of 19 items. Just pick a few and discuss about that.
So the first one, one of the second on the list is launch an accelerator.
Oh yes.
So if you're a bank or if you're a big corporate, the trendy thing to do is we have an internal accelerator for startups and ideas internally. It's just the kind of the
that comes along with the demo day or pitch day,
yeah.
right? So everyone to pitch their own idea or do their own demos.
But in reality, nothing really changes in the corporate. But it's a big party, and yay, we have ideas. But in reality, 1 year later, nothing happens.
I would say that the next one, which is have a brainstorming meeting with lots of post-it notes. Especially on the wall, right? So everyone needs to see paper. Everyone is digital up to the point that they need to talk about something. So we need to go back to the post-its. So people make themselves busy and stuff like that. If they don't have post-its, they can use the Kanban boards on Jira. Remember that one?
Yeah. But let's go first for post-its. Invent new senior titles.
Oh yes.
Come on, you can be cool and you have titles as
Vice President of Growth.
Or that, or like there was one from Yahoo, like visionary developer or something like that.
Guru.
A guru, yeah, internet guru.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are good names also.
That's not
that show that you are.
It wasn't Yahoo. It was AOL.
AOL. Yep.
That guy from the internet.
Yeah,
it wasn't Internet Guru. It was something like that. But it was really awkward.
It shows like how innovative we have. We have a guru for things.
The next one is start talking like how you think startups talk. Like have podcasts and videos and be.
I have no idea.
How do they talk?
Hire ex-Googlers.
Oh yes,
because
everyone.
Hiring Googlers will just make your company the most innovative place to work.
Exactly. That's really important. Adopt a casual dress code.
Mm-hmm.
I think that comes along with an open office thing, and have a chef to cook you meals and stuff like that.
Open floor plan. That's also very startup-ish. Like just because you have an open floor, it's going to be innovation non-stop.
Exactly. Funny enough, this list, which is huge, doesn't mention the two pizza teams. So I think that this is going to be for the next iteration with all of the lists is have two pizza teams. Bottom line is a funny thing, a funny strategy list, how to move from a startup to an enterprise, or how to gain that kind of culture from a startup into a large corporation. Bottom line, and if you look at most of them, we hit all of those. I remember working for different companies, and we pretty much hit all of those when we work on a startup or even on a big corporation.
But I think this article does talk a bit more detail into it, and it does give some insights. It's not just a bit of parody, but it does provide some insights into these topics in the reality of things. That if you want to push innovation in your company, it's not just because you offer free food or open space or offer Apple devices to everyone. That doesn't mean your company will be innovative. The innovation comes from giving freedom to your employees, for them to test ideas, for them to research, and not put special or really difficult metrics or goals for stuff that they are experimenting. So that's where innovation comes from. It doesn't come from shenanigans and beautiful things like posters on the wall and stuff like that.
Right. So, and that's it for the second topic. The third one is about the customer service tips for startups. I heard that you had a good review on Twitter about your company customer service. I think it was great. People enjoy the stuff that you were doing. I must say that when I had my own startup, I don't think we got so far down the line when it comes to customer support, but we had a few of those that we were listening to, especially when we were developing the product, because we wanted to hear their opinion and we wanted to work with them. I
would say it's kind of different when you had your own startup. Twitter wasn't really a thing, so most of your feedback came from more traditional means of email or maybe phone calls, or if you had like special people on your the beta testing, like calling them. Most of the feedback that we are getting comes from Slack, from the Slack community we have, and Twitter. So that's where most of our customer support is. Like people asking us questions via Twitter, and we're trying to answer and trying to understand what they mean, and giving some support and making them feel like, okay, we appreciate their feedback and the other issue. So here's maybe a token of our appreciation.
Yeah.
So it's really, the main tip is really pay attention to what your users are saying, and try to feel how to make them feel good. Think in their position, not yours, because they're the one using the product. Try to understand how they feel when they use your product, and that's what for me the main tip to create a good customer service from nothing. Yeah, because basically, it's me and someone else in the company just replying to emails and tweets,
and I think that the main probably the main focus is instead of waiting for the customers to get to you, you need to be close to them. You need to see where they are, and just to make that kind of comparison between when I had my own startup and nowadays. We were expecting to have this kind of feedback from people. So one of the things that we had within the application was, I want to give feedback and I want to ask a question. Right now, we just went to Twitter or Facebook and stuff like that, and just wait that people would communicate with us.
Some applications have that form, like please submit feedback, but I don't think I have
do you have? Are you planning on having surveys, something like that, asking about feature or stuff to
we
people?
Regularly ask whenever we get an email of a potential customer asking us about the service. We usually end with if you have any questions or if you have any feedback, we're very happy to hear it and to talk to you. So that's quite a constant communication. This request for feedback from our customers.
Okay, so the 5 customer tips for startups. I'm going to tell all of the 5 at the same time. Then we're going to discuss. So the first one is tell everyone who you are. Explain that. The second, answer the newest emails first, because I don't know. Shorten the line to escalated help.
Yep.
Find surprise moments of delight. And the last one is always be asking. So starting with the last one, as you said, always ask about feedback to people when you communicate with them. And then I would resume the 4 as in open a channel with your customers. Be open, be transparent as well, and talk to them and listen to them. So that's the main point.
We usually try to explain to them why things are done that way. If there's a problem, we usually give those people like a token, something small, just to show like, sorry for the inconvenience. Here's a small, might be a discount, might be something, just to make them feel appreciated for the service.
That makes completely sense. Yeah, especially when the fault it's from your side, right?
Exactly.
So it's not the customer, and especially when the customer doesn't have the full service or the service stopped or something like that.
Exactly.
I had a situation with several companies that even startups that they are doing some kind of maintenance, then the service goes down for 1 day or 2, which is normal. It shouldn't be normal, but sometimes it is.
Yep.
And we don't have to get any kind of feedback. We don't get any kind of refund of the service that they were providing. They should be providing, but they don't because of the service is down. So we don't have that kind of communication or token of appreciation from being client.
Well, I have that. For example, in the UK, there's a telco provider where I'm a client, and for example, when I log into their website to pay my bill, and I can't. So for 1 month, I still can't log into their portal anymore. I have no idea why. It just tells me, oh, there's an error. I'll send them a message. Oh, clear your cache.
Restart the computer.
Yeah. I would say maybe 1 day might be a problem with my cache. 1 month, and I can't log in on different devices. That's not my fault anymore. And their reply is always the same, like, oh, try clearing your cache or try using a different browser.
They don't listen to you. That's what happens. So startups can learn a lot. There's a lot of tips for that, but I would resume most of them as in focus on the customer first, as you said, and try to figure out what's important for them and answer that immediately to them. Anything else from my side to add?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, cool. This was episode 15 of Startup.
No, 16.
16.
16 years.
There you go. Episode 16 of the...
That's there, look.
I know that. I noticed that now. Of Startup Out of the Box. And cheers. See you next time.
Can we go play with Oculus Rift?
Yes, we can.